The Constitution of India, Preamble. We, the people of India, having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic and to secure to all its citizens justice, social, economic and political, liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith and worship, equality of status and of opportunity, and to promote among them all fraternity, assuring the dignity of the individual and the unity and integrity of the nation. In our Constituent Assembly, this 26th day of November 1949, do hereby adopt, enact and give to ourselves this Constitution.
Hi children, I am going to begin this session by saying a quote. If you are helping someone and expecting something in return, you are doing business, not kindness. So my dear children, be kind-hearted and help others so that in return you will be getting happiness and your life will be filled with happiness. By saying this, I move on to the next session where I will be doing the recap of the previous class and then we can move on to the new topic. So, in the previous class, we studied about microorganisms and diseases. And we came to know that bacteria, virus, fungus, protozoan are the microorganisms which are causing diseases. And later on we understood mode of transmission of diseases. It may be through direct contact or through indirect contact. And then we understood that after the flood which took place in Kerala, the most common diseases which was spreading that time was rat fever, and it is a bacterial disease, and we came to know that how the spreading of bacterial disease took place as we understood that these bacteria enters the body and they multiply and they will be multiplying by binary fission. Later on they will be producing the toxin and that toxin is destroying the cells and causing the diseases, and the positive organism for the rat fever is Leptospira, which is a bacteria, and later on we understood the mode of infection of leptospirosis. It is through the urine of rat, dog, through which the bacteria will be coming out and it will be remaining alive in the stagnant water, and then it will be entering into the body of the person through the wound, and then enters into the body of the person. There it will be releasing the toxin and thus causing the damage to the blood capillaries. Later on it will be leading to internal bleeding. I think this thing you would have understood. And later on we understood how leptospirosis is spreading. We have seen this illustration very nicely, and thus we came to know the symptoms of leptospirosis, that is severe fever, headache, muscle pain, redness in the eye, isn't it? And it can be completely cured by early diagnosis and treatment, and we should have the realization that immunization is better than treatment. That also we understood. And the preventive measure is eliminating the vector, avoiding situations of the stagnant of water, properly covered food should be there, we should drink boiled water, and the waste material should be destroyed properly. Preventive measures should be taken by taking the preventive medicines, as well as we should ensure personal hygiene, that we already understood. And later on we understood that there are other bacterial diseases, that is diphtheria, which is spreading through cough, sneezing or directly from the infected person. And then we understood that the pathogen related to diphtheria is Corynebacterium diphtheria, and the symptoms are fever, throat pain, inflammation in the lymph gland of the throat, and the treatment is taking antitoxins as well as the vaccination can be done. And the next disease related to bacteria is tuberculosis, The pathogen is Mycobacterium tuberculosis. The symptoms are loss of body weight, fatigue, persistent cough, transmission of diseases. We understood that it is through cough, speaking or sneezing, and the organ or the body part which is being affected there is mainly the lungs, kidney, bone, joints, brain. And next we understood the treatment is being done by giving antibiotics, and the vaccine we can use BCG there for as a preventive measure against tuberculosis. And later on we understood that there are other bacterial diseases other than leptospirosis or diphtheria or tuberculosis, and these diseases are cholera, typhoid, and mode of transmission is through contaminated water, tetanus through wounds, anthrax is a disease which is being transmitted through contact with animals, botulism through stained food, and gonorrhea, syphilis through sexual contact. Now the next one is related to the viral diseases which we are going to begin in this session, and we know that viral diseases are also the dreadful diseases like bacterial diseases, and we know about Nipah is one of the viral disease which affected many people 2 to 3 years before, and Nipah is caused by Nipah virus, and the Nipah virus is being transmitted through the natural host, that is the food bat, and through this bat the fruit which is being consumed by this bat and it is being eaten by the human being. Surely the disease will be taking place in the human being, and from this infected person, when the other persons, when they are coming in contact with each other, it will be spreading from one person to another person, and the other mode of transmission is through the pig, isn't it? So through the pig, it is been said that transmission of Nipah virus to humans may occur after direct contact with infected bats and pigs. This is how the Nipah, which is a disease caused by Nipah virus, is taking place in the human being. Now you can see the second disease caused by virus is AIDS, and the full form of AIDS is acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. It is important in the question paper. The full form of AIDS used to come. And next thing you can see here, this is the structure of virus. It is just to make you understand the structure of virus. You should know what is virus, isn't it? And you can see AIDS is a disease which is caused by HIV virus. This is the structure of HIV virus, and we know that lymphocytes, they are WBC and they play a major role in providing immunity to the body. And next thing you can see here, HIV, which is human immunodeficiency virus, it enters the body and multiplies by using the genetic mechanism of the lymphocytes. What it is doing, when it enters the body, it will be reaching into the cells of lymphocytes, and there it will be controlling the genetic mechanism, that is the genetic material present in the nucleus of the cell, and the genetic material which is present there, it is DNA. So it is controlling the genetic mechanism, isn't it, and multiplying there, and hence the number of lymphocytes decreases there. Thus what happens there? It destroys the lymphocytes. So what will happen? The number of lymphocytes decreases, thus reducing the immunity of the body. When the number of lymphocytes decreases, what will happen? The immunity of the body decreases, and therefore this part is important. Various other pathogens which enters the body in such a situation make the condition of AIDS even more fatal. What is being said there? When AIDS already is there in that infected person, that time if other pathogens such as bacteria, fungus or some other microorganisms, when they enter, what will happen? It will be making the condition of AIDS more worst, isn't it? And due to that, what will happen? That person will not be recovering from the diseases. This part is very, very important. And next, it is being said that what are the ways by which one gets infected with HIV? You can see mode of infection, or you can say mode of transmission. There are 4 ways through which the HIV is being transmitted from one person to another person. First one is unprotected sex with an infected partner. Number 2, sharing needles with infected person. Number 3, transmission from infected mother to fetus. And number 4, infection from blood product. Sharing needles with infected person means when unsterilized needles or syringes are used there to inject into the healthy person, surely what will happen? The virus may affect the healthy person. Same way, if the mother is being affected by HIV virus, the fetus present in the womb of the mother will be affected. Same way, when the blood transfusion is taking place from one person to another person, if it is from infected person to the healthy person, what will happen? HIV will be entering into the healthy person. This is the method or the mode of transmission through which the HIV is spreading from one person to another person. Thus, AIDS is spreading from one person to another person. This is very, very important, my dear children. You have to study it. And next one is, what are the ways through which AIDS does not spread? You can see AIDS cannot be spread by sharing food, sharing the bed, doorknobs, telephones, towels, phones touched by the infected person, sharing a swimming pool, traveling with them, shaking hands with them, living and working with them, or the mosquitoes or the flies and the insects through them, it will not spread. Sharing the toilets or hugging or kissing them. So these are certain ways through which AIDS will not spread from one person to another person. This is again important. Now you can see what should be our attitude towards AIDS patients. AIDS can be completely prevented by taking right precaution. If we are taking a correct preventive measure, if we are taking a right precaution, the right time, AIDS can be prevented. We should love them. Those who are AIDS patients, we should not ignore them. We should not make them alone. They should not be isolated. But what we should do? We should love them. We should care them. And we should make them feel that they are one among us. This should be our attitude towards the AIDS patient. This is again important, my children. Now, other than AIDS, there is another viral disease, and that is hepatitis. It is a liver disease, and the pathogen of hepatitis is hepatitis virus. And the major symptoms is inflammation of liver. We know that what is inflammation. Inflammation means swelling and the reddishness we can see in the area. So in the liver, when this pathogen is attacking, what will happen? The liver we can see reddish color as well as that area will be swelled, and that is inflammation. And how the inflammation is taking place there? Because the flow of bile is blocked. Due to that, what will happen? An increase in the bilirubin is blocked. The flow of bile, that is bile is a substance which is produced from bilirubin, or we can say it is produced from liver. Bilirubin is a pigment, isn't it? So this pigment's increase will be blocked because of the block in the flow of bile. And due to that, what happens? A dark yellow color is being imparted to the mucous membrane, eye as well as knee. Hepatitis is also known as jaundice. This is a common name. Jaundice is a common name. And dark yellow color you can see in the nails of the person. Those who are infected with jaundice, you can see the nails will be yellowish color. The eye, inside the eye, the whitish area will become yellow in color, as well as the mucous membrane present in the nose, isn't it, or in the throat. In that area, the mucus, it will be yellowish in color. These are the major symptoms. Now, transmission of disease, how the disease is transmitted? Through contaminated food and water and blood components. Through the blood components as well as through contaminated water as well as food, the disease is being transmitted from one person to another person. Organ or body parts affected: liver, mucous membrane, eye and nail. These are the parts which are affected there because of hepatitis, or we can say jaundice. Now next it is being said that preventive measures are: avoid drinking alcohol, avoid contaminated food and water, keep food and water hygienic, vaccination should be taken, avoid circumstances favorable for viral infection. So these are certain preventive measures which should be taken against hepatitis. I think you would have understood about hepatitis. Now, other viral diseases and mode of transmission we are going to learn and understand. Chickenpox, SARS. These are the two viral diseases which are transmitted through air. Rabies, the mode of transmission is through animal. AIDS, Ebola, the mode of transmission is through body fluid. So these are the viral diseases and their mode of transmission is again very important, and the children will have to study it. That is about the viral diseases, and in the viral diseases we have studied the main thing related to AIDS, hepatitis, isn't it? Now we are going to study about fungal diseases. There are certain fungus which are edible. There are many fungus which are pathogenic. So the fungus, those who are pathogenic, about their disease and their symptoms we are going to study. Here you can see virus are of various types. Example, mushroom, bread mound, etc. You can see the picture of mushroom. Different types of mushrooms are there, in which some of them are edible and some will not be edible. They will be pathogenic. And bread mound, this is a fungus which we can see on the surface of the bread. See, when we are keeping the bread outside for 2 to 3 days, we can see a growth on the surface of the bread. That growth is the fungus, and the name of the fungus is bread mound. Now you can see here also the toxins produced by fungi causes diseases. In the bacteria we have studied what the toxins are produced there, and these toxins are causing diseases. In the same way, the toxins produced by the fungus causes the diseases. Now the next part you can see, you have to study these two diseases, their symptoms and the mode of transmission. These two diseases are related to the fungal diseases. The first disease is ringworm, and the symptom is round red blisters. Blisters means small grains which will be produced there in the body part, and it will be round in shape and it will be reddish in color. And the mode of transmission is through touch and contact. Next one, athlete's foot. This is another disease caused by fungus, and the symptoms are reddish, scaly rashes. We can see the skin will be dried up and there will be red color scaly rashes on the skin, and the mode of transmission is through the contact with contaminated water and soil. So this is the table related to the fungal disease which you have to study. It is very important. Now, we are going to study about the diseases spread by or caused by protozoans. Protozoa is unicellular eukaryotes. We know that what is unicellular? It is single cell, and eukaryotes means having true nucleus. And the disease caused by protozoa is malaria, and the symptoms of malaria is high fever with shivering, profuse sweating, headache, vomiting, diarrhea, and the person will be anemic. That is anemia. Anemic means the body of the person will not have the maximum amount of blood. That is anemia. Isn't it? That is the symptoms of malaria. You can analyze the illustration related to the spreading or the mode of transmission of disease. That is, the pathogen is Plasmodium here. The vector is female Anopheles mosquito, and the host is human. In the case of malaria, the pathogen or the positive organism is Plasmodium, and this female Anopheles mosquito is spreading the disease by injecting this Plasmodium into the human. That is, from the infected person, the blood will be sucked by the mosquito, and this mosquito will bite the healthy person. And surely what will happen? That virus will be, this protozoa will be injected into the blood of the healthy person. And thus what will happen? The spreading of disease is taking place from infected person to the healthy person. This is how the mode of transmission is taking place in the case of malaria. This illustration is again important, my dear children. Now, there is another disease which is caused by protozoa, and that is filariasis. And the pathogen related to filariasis is filarial worm, and the vector which is spreading the disease from the infected person to the healthy person, and that is Culex mosquito. Culex mosquito is the male mosquito. So in the case of malaria, we have seen that female Anopheles mosquito is a vector, and in the case of filariasis, we have seen Culex mosquito is a vector. So again, here we can see base pair relationship. That is, malaria is to female Anopheles mosquito. Filariasis is to Culex mosquito. Isn't it? This is again important. And now we can see how the filariasis is taking place. The worm, that is filarial worm, stay in the lymph duct. We know that in the human body, blood vessels are there. In the same way, lymph vessels or lymph ducts are there. Through the blood vessels, blood will flow, and blood is colored fluid. And in the case of lymph duct, these are the vessels through which the lymph is flowing, and the lymph is colorless fluid. So what is happening there? The filarial worm, it will be staying in the lymph duct. Due to that, what happens? The flow of lymph is obstructed by blocking the duct. The vessel will be blocked there by the worm as it is multiplying and maturing in the duct. Due to that, what will happen? The flow of lymph is obstructed, and the flow will not be taking place there. Thus, it causes the swelling in the lymph duct. So the lymph duct will be swelled up, and that will be causing the disease called filariasis. You can see the illustration related to filariasis. This is the normal leg, and this one is the infected leg. This is filariasis, which is also known as elephantiasis or lymphatic filariasis. This is the worm, filarial worm, which is staying there in the lymphatic duct of the human body. You can see this is the life cycle of the filarial worm, and this is the vector. This is the filarial worm, isn't it? This is the vector, that is the Culex mosquito, which is spreading the disease from the infected person to the healthy person. So this is the illustration related to filariasis. I think my dear children, you would have understood about filariasis, which is a disease caused by protozoa. So now we have studied two diseases caused by protozoa. One is malaria, the other one is filariasis. Both are important. You can see here next, polluted surroundings promote the multiplication of pathogen. How the pathogen is multiplied? Because of the polluted surroundings. Now, how the surrounding is getting polluted? Because we are putting the waste into the surrounding. Thus, the surrounding will be getting polluted. Due to that, what is happening? There will be increase in the vectors such as mosquitoes as well as flies. And this will spread the communicable diseases. Therefore, it is necessary to avoid the situations that lead to the multiplication of pathogens and vectors. That is, it is being said that situations means the polluted surrounding, it should be avoided. And how it can be avoided? We should not throw the garbage to the surrounding, but we can dispose it in a proper way. Then only what will happen? There will not be any multiplication of pathogens and vector, and the surrounding will be neat and clean, and we will be away from the diseases. Next important question is there. What is the significance of observing dry day in schools and at home? We know that during rainy season what happens? Most of the diseases are taking place during rainy season. And what is there? It has been said that that day or those days, among those days, one day is being observed as dry day. That is in the school as well as at home. Why we are observing this dry day? That is the question. What is the significance of it? We can see it has been said that our carelessness and unclean surroundings are the reasons for the spreading of communicable diseases. We are careless and the surrounding is not clean. Surely what will happen? Spreading of communicable disease will be taking place there. So to stop that, what we have to do? We have to eradicate the diseases, isn't it? Eradication of diseases causing vectors is the most effective measure to avoid spreading of disease. And how the disease can be eradicated? We should be careful as well as the surrounding should be clean. Then only what will happen? The diseases will not be taking place there. No multiplication of pathogen will be taking place there, isn't it? In this way, we can keep ourselves and the surrounding clean. How we can keep the surrounding clean? We should not throw the garbage to the surrounding. We should dispose it in a proper way, and we have to make ourselves neat and clean, and the surrounding we can keep neat and clean. And due to that, eradication of diseases will be taking place there, isn't it? So, the spreading of communicable disease will not be taking place. This is the significance of observing dry day in school and at home. So, once in a week or twice in a week, if you are doing these processes, surely what will happen? The multiplication of pathogen, multiplication of vector will not be taking place, and the spreading of communicable disease will be avoided, and we will be hygienic, isn't it? So, all this will lead to a happy life. So, this is how dry day is in school and at home is being observed. I think, my dear children, up to here you would have understood, and by this I am going to wind up this session. I think you will be understanding it much more better by going through the video 1 or 2 or 3 times, and if you are having any doubt related to today's session, you can give me a call and clarify your doubt. So my dear children, in the next session we will be meeting. Till then, take care.